you. All right, so once I get down here, I start walking the hand up and he pulls his arm back. That's fine. I'm not going to keep trying to fight his strength. All right, unless I'm trying to tire out this arm to attack it, that's fine. If that's the strategy, I love that one, especially against big guys. I'm going to attack one limb until it's so tired that it can't defend itself against me. Not a big deal. If that's the goal, then stay here as long as you can, because as soon as we get to a position where he can be bigger and stronger, I'm going to be in trouble. All right? But if I want to start attacking and posturing up, I get that elbow back and my knee starts coming in. My head has to stay higher than my hips. Okay? If I immediately dive back down and in, my hips are attached to them. Exactly. I've got nothing to keep me back. Make sense? So if I'm going to start attacking that forearm, I've got to make the decision. Either my head starts coming above his to counteract that, right? So I don't get rolled away, or I've got to start posturing up and working the knee on belly, get my hands back inside. So you got to make that decision. It's entirely up to you, and how they react a lot of times will dictate it. Okay, but you can see this inside arm is already starting to get separated from his body. So I've got a good attack option there. So knee on belly is a good option. If I'm immediately thinking mount, but that arm's coming away, it's going to be hard to attack it. Make sense? So if I feel that inside arm starting to separate, then I'll probably posture up, pull it with me, and I can attack over the top of it. Cool? If he keeps his elbows inside, then I got to worry about getting rolled, and I want to make sure that I'm starting to work my way into that vertical position, parallel to him. Cool? All right, so next option. On the inside control. John does the classic foot on the knee because he's not worried about me hurting him. Okay, go the other way. Yep. So this function is to get his knee into my hip, same way that we try to do when we're lifting our foot up, but it attaches his legs. Okay, so it's a lazier option, in my opinion. The thing it does for me is that it attaches his hips to each other. So if I control the top leg, I control the bottom leg. When he's just got his knee up and his foot's not attached to his other knee, right? He's here. One, it's hard for me to get above his leg. Because if I start dropping that arm back, he can just extend his leg and he can start feeding it in between, start attacking me, making space, exactly, and getting to that annoying position. Okay, but if his foot is attached to his knee, it's hard for him to stop me from coming to this side. That's exactly where we're going to go. Okay, so I'm going to thread in between his legs, exactly like Colin did when we were supposed to be doing the other escape, or the other mount. And I'm going to extend his hips to the ground, start turning him away. You notice the theme here is I'm always attacking the hips, trying to turn him away from me. Even when I was bringing my elbow back across his hip, and I start mounting, I'm using my foot to turn his hips. Because when they're facing away, it's a lot harder for them to attack me. All right, start separating arms, and it encourages him to give me his back, which in the end is my ideal position. Okay? So I'm going to pull that elbow back. Maybe I don't stop here, but I see that foot's attached. I'm not going to stop at the hip. I'm going to come underneath, reaching through, and I'm planting my hand on the ground. Yep, to get the pin. All right, I want to pin his hips to the ground. Now I can start pulling that knee up and across. If he turns into me, he'll do the work for me, and my shin comes back across. Again, back to that knee on belly position. Okay? I drive it across. If I get nice and tight to him here, and my knee comes up and under, I can grab that forearm and do the exact same thing I would do by walking my hand. Because he's turning away, it's hard for him to get a lot of power when the ground's in the way, to pull his elbow back to the ground. Cool? Questions? So this time, instead of blocking the hip, I'm going to pin his legs away from me and start sliding the knee across. A lot of times I'll end up, again, in knee on belly there. I just like a tag from knee on belly, especially in a gi.
See it again, Coach.
Getting in my side control. I see that attach. I'm coming inside. Be careful reaching over the top. Exactly. I end up in all of this crap, and I got to put my knee on his head until he lets go. All right, so instead I'm coming inside. If his foot's attached to his knee, I'm not going to stop here. I'm coming all the way underneath. Driving across. I can end up in this position. MMA, great position to strike in. I'm controlling his hips. I'm making him do the work. Okay, and I'm still pinning. Right? My knee is going to come under the arm. He's turned away, so grabbing onto that gi, grabbing onto that wrist. I can also go underneath if I really want to. My foot is below his hip line, so I've got to be aware of that. If his hips come back, he's going to be able to lock me into half guard. All right, so I've got to be ready to slide that knee up under the armpit. Go back. Okay, I've got to be ready if he starts turning back, that my knee comes up, and that my foot gets above his hip line as quickly as possible. Heavy hip. Questions? Short story, don't do this. It's that easy. If you're tired, sometimes you do that, but it's so easy to attack his hips. I don't even have to thread in between. If I'm in gi, I'll just grab the side of his knee and pin it to the ground. All right, it opens up most of my attacks from this side of it. Start stepping over the top. I can come underneath, start attacking the back. I've got a lot of attacks, and he doesn't have a lot of defense. Don't attach that foot to the leg unless you're absolutely tired. In which case, it's better than nothing. 1, 2, 3.